Hey, welcome everybody to the
Oh,
Evercade Podcast.
I still have it installed, Fonzie. Like I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting there. I just can't find the right clip.
Can't find Fonzie. One of
No,
these.
I
One of
found them. I
these.
just found some interesting ones, just ones that won't work. But I'd still have to work on actually editing the video and stuff. I'm not.
Nice. I can
I didn't
point.
feel like doing it.
This is Crow. I'm Ed. And yeah, Pete and Rich are Gandalfing and other cool places doing other cool things. So you're just
Well,
stuck
we
with us.
know Pete's not showing up, and
Yeah.
you said Rich probably won't show up.
No, he won't. He's Gandalf. Yeah, he's in an undisclosed
Oh,
location.
he's not Gandalfing if he's not going to show up.
True. Well, he goes the whole thing with Gandalf. He goes where he's needed. So that's kind of the whole. That's kind of the whole thing. I don't know why I need to do. Okay, I don't know why Bob. I'm like used to seeing myself on the left instead of the
Well,
right.
that's because I showed up first and I added myself first.
Oh yeah.
Was on the...
I don't know why that bothers me. Like looking at myself over there. But yeah, we got some things to talk about. I should mention for the next one or two Evercasts, I'm going to be in an undisclosed location, and probably Rich will end up being a backup host, and we'll get that worked out. So yeah, hope everybody is doing good. It's been a long and productive week, and let's see, who do we have in the chat?
Long and productive week. Your personal results may vary.
We have Pickin' Duck. We have a Crypto Coffee getting all excited with the Ed poop faces and excited faces. And also that's a channel member.
Yeah, poop face, excited.
Yeah.
That's what I see there in the screen.
Yeah. I wish StreamYard would actually show the membership icons, but it doesn't. But you can imagine, like, the one that looks like me having a poop face. Which by the way, that's a very far callback for those of you who've been watching Evercast for a while. And we got channel member Nathan Foster. So Alpha is. I mean, we'll see. I feel like speculating that. Yeah. And there's the myth, the man, the legend, the Pete himself saying, yeah. Who's also a channel member. Another channel member, Lloyd JRM. How you doing? And we got Dub64, Disa Oakland, channel member Andy Davison. Another channel member, Sucker MC. Another channel member, Ballistic Coffee Boy. And another channel member, David D. Yeah. Appreciate all the channel members and lots of gifting of membership. So it's great to see a bunch of people. And then channel member DF. Yeah. Oh, gifted me a membership to Crow. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Right. In my stream, there was a ton of membership gifting when I was streaming.
That's awesome. I still love when people do that because it helps like you're the channel. Hey, channel member BD, greetings from the UK. And of course, Crashline. He's one of the OG channel members. So welcome everybody. The chat's booming and all that. We got a few things to talk about, and then we just may open it up to the chat.
I'm interested in these few things to talk about because to me there's like no thing to talk about. Because maybe you've heard something I haven't heard. I don't know.
No. It's funny because sometimes with like the news, sometimes I have to put quotation marks. I try to find at least like some little thing, and there's really not much this week because we're kind of waiting. But I figure at least I could kind of talk about like the different like offerings or the different like packages that we've seen like on the different sites like
I'll be honest with you. This week has just been hyper focused on Pinball Effects since they released 5 tables this week.
Ooh, yeah, is that a lot for them to release in 1 week? It sounds like.
Yeah, especially since this is the first time they've been releasing They released any tables this year, so.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, really, as far as like there's like as far as like Evercade fanboy. Member, good to have you here. Oh, that's a doggy, and then like a coat around. That's pretty cool. I was like, what is that? It looked like one of the things
Oh,
from like
you're talking about the okay.
yeah, like
Okay. I was like, what are you talking about? It looked like something completely different to me. That's why it was what are you looking at?
that's great. So yeah, so the original like their blogs, there isn't much, and it's kind of the quiet, nothing, nothing too much on Discord, but a few things, and then we can talk about like the polls. So I guess it's not available anymore, but kind of interesting just to see that they were that they were bundling the grip and all that. Although
Oh, they
you're not
sold
really,
out? Oh, it is sold out. That's
yeah. But what I thought was interesting about this is that we don't have any built-in games that can utilize that because they took that away, and none of these games are going to use the grip.
hey, you could play any game in Tate mode. In fact, it
True.
might be more interesting. You put it, stretch it out, rotate it, and make everybody super tall.
Super tall, super tall Tomb Raider. But I mean, I get it. It's kind of like if you want to like
Tomb Raider Super Tall Edition.
super tall. Yeah, exactly. Or I guess if you're wanting to get additional games, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting to promote. It would have made more sense with it, but yeah. Or if you want to play Tomb Raider super tall edition. Well, no, Tate pinball. Yeah, pinball collection. I know that would be cool. That would be cool.
Well, there's really you'd have to go. I'm trying to think. Well, you'd probably. I wonder if it. I don't know if the EXP, the Evercade, can handle something like pinball effects. Even like it's definitely not as powerful as the Switch, and the Switch can barely run that. So I mean, I don't know what pinball games are out there that'll let you rotate the screen to play it, other than more recent ones than that. Maybe you know what would work probably? Xeno Tilt, and what was Demon's Tilt and Xeno Tilt. Maybe those would work.
Yeah,
I know you can switch those into Tate mode.
That would be cool. But I think they probably have to like port over. They may probably have to port over per game. Yeah,
it would have to be a native game because it's a
yes, exactly. What's this? I had an online exchange with someone in the UK on an Evercade page. Someone posted a photo of an Atari Lynx cartridge they had just bought from a new reseller in Europe, not Funsock. Oh, okay, interesting. If they have a website, let me know, and we can bring that up. They asked in the post, wonder if this would be covered under warranty. Oh, the car. Well, yeah, because I see. Well, yeah, because it's a limited or legacy. Said not likely 1 year late. Yeah, true. So yeah, there's a bundle you can't get anymore. Now this, okay, so this is something you can get. And maybe it's just me, but I don't know. I don't like this shirt.
Is that some reference to Tomb Raider?
Maybe. Let's see if
it looks like a D-pad almost with the arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And that's got XYBA. So it is. Oh, that's Katie in the middle. I don't know why I wasn't catching that.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, that's cool for those who want it. Maybe it is some reference to Tomb Raider. Maybe it's like
they made a Evercade some artifact. That wouldn't be out of place for Tomb Raider or something. I don't know. Interesting shirt.
Yeah. Care if my connection is lost to screen share audio. There is no audio. Stupid StreamYard. Interesting. Okay, so there's some law in Europe about a 2-year warranty. I haven't heard anything about bricking. Allegedly, just selling cards. Well, yeah, exactly. That is that is BS. I mean,
but still, I'd rather. The reason I'm buying from other retailers is because I'm having it shipped from Canada rather than Europe.
Yes, and that's where we'll say Video Games Plus for the win. They'll honor replacements. Very nice customer service. My Duke, knock on wood, my Duke 2 carts finally.
Wait. Very nice customer service, and you haven't gotten your Duke Nukem 2 cart yet?
No, I did. I said it's working. It's been working.
Did get it.
It's been
working, but it's
been working.
Yeah, months.
Yeah. Well, so it took that for a couple well, I mean, for one, which isn't their fault, was that they sold out of it like right away and had to wait like a month for it to get back in stock. then it was just like had a second bad card, because then get that replaced, and it takes a week, and then they asked if I wanted to do testing, and then unfortunately the person who did the testing had like a death in the family. It's like,
Well,
it's just
I can say
so
that
crazy.
my Duke Nukem 2 cart is completely fine because I played through all the games that were on it.
Nice. Oh, don't say that about yourself, Crash Flight of Enormous. 2X. I mean, I think they do it for different sizes, just messing around. But no, it is like to buy, like, for me in general, like I do like to buy like clothing that I can put and like try on. For me, especially pants, I really need to be able to. Or trousers for some of our audience. Like that means everything. It's a $20. Yeah, it is definitely. Evercade dressing gown. Jeez. My Pico. Oh no, Pico 1 had died. Blaze will replace it, but I've ordered an Ever SD. You want to? Yeah, but then the problem though is that, like, if you do that with the Ever SD, then you have to have at least like one console that just sticks on that firmware. Not like you could update it.
Somebody needs to, and not me, make and sell an adapter that lets you hook a cartridge up to your PC, which I kind of have. But
It would be cool if somebody on Etsy would sell that adapter, and then if somebody on Etsy would sell like blank, like Evercade carts where you don't yeah.
Because I have this. This goes USB-C plugs in, and this is you could dump Game Boy Advance cartridges from this. And Evercade carts would kind of fit in there. I mean, I took it apart, and the Evercade cart would pop in there, but it won't recognize it because this is really meant to read Game Boy Advance cartridges.
Yeah. We need that crow, and then somebody on Etsy to sell like just like blank like Evercade carts that don't have anything printed on the other side, so that way you could like make you could like back up and make collections. And
I can only make shells, but
yeah. See, that's No, see, that's no. I agree with CryptoCop. Like that's the thing. Like, yes, issues happen with everything, but it just seems like an Evercade community. Like listen, I've had a couple bad carts. I've got them all replaced, but then I don't want it to become like a trend. Like everything fails. I'm like, well, anything electronic has the has the ability. Yeah, even digital games have issues. Yeah.
That's the problem. Is they made them so the cards can be updated, but because it can be updated, they have to be read write. So since they can be written to, it's easy for something to get corrupted on it.
Yeah.
And just make the cart not work anymore.
Exactly, and that's not because of like just running an update to make it updatable. Yeah, it's exactly what you said, because the fact that it is writable. Yeah.
But what they could have done was done something like make a portion of the of what's on there just read only. So have a read only portion and a read write portion. And if something happens, you would be able to restore the cart maybe from the read only portion.
That's actually what I thought that they were designed, that the only writable part was like for like save states and all that initially. That's what I kind of thought.
Nope.
Oh no, Snake Eater. Yeah, they'll get you. I heard Crazy Burger had like a similar issue with his Indie Heroes 3 that I had with my Duke. But they'll get you. They'll get you hooked. They'll get you hooked up. Email them as long as they have it in stock. It's just with me, like it took longer because it was a fluke issue, because the second cart that I got had issues. So that's, it like Murphy's Law was like against me. Yeah, Blaze could have a feature, the online collect. You know what? It's kind of funny, because I know I think a long time ago when they first started that, I asked Ryan if they had a way to do that, and they're like, no, and they said that they did.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, why not? I mean, if you have the cart in there, well, see, I guess if it can't recognize the cart, then it wouldn't be able to work. But if there's something wrong with the cart, you should be able. And since like the Evercade XP and Evercade VS have Wi-Fi, why not just be able to re-download and restore the cart back to its original, what was originally on it?
Yeah, or like at the very least, I was kind of hoping that like maybe you'd have to call support, and maybe they would like have you connect to like put in like a code and connect to like a certain online server, and then like because the
But
firmware
then
would
if
probably.
yeah, and then if it can't recognize what card it is, then there's you can't really say, hey, I got this is the Duke Nukem cart. I need it to be restored. And when you don't really have the Duke Nukem cart, you're just overwriting interplay or something.
You know what? Yeah, that's true because I've had cards not recognized. So I was gonna say probably what it'll take is someday, hopefully 10, 20 years from now, if something, hopefully Blaze will still be around, but if they're not, then like all
You
the
think
images of all the carts will be up on the Mighty Archive, and then there'll be tools and ways where you could do all that, right?
you think that you're still going to be playing the EXP version of the Evercade in 10 years?
Probably not.
You don't
That's
think?
true.
You think
Hey, archive gig. Yeah, probably not. Um, uh put in a support ticket. Yeah, if you got it from VGA, just like usually something like that. Usually, like, just take like a quick like 30-second video on your phone, and then just email them, and then they'll be like, okay, we'll replace it. Ooh, talking about the dark, the Euro guys coming back and forth, talking about the dark side of Blaze. So it was a real reason for the post. The dark side. No, cool stuff. That was, I mean, because I do like to address people's concerns. Yes, anything can fail. I've had it happen to me with a few carts, but that's just the way it is with stuff. It's just it sucks when it happens, and then like with legacy carts, then that's that's kind of another issue. It's actually speaking of stuff that's legacy. Let's see if we switch over to here. So Video Games Plus, and I bring this up because I don't like scalpers selling things for like crazy prices. But you notice from like a legit reseller for $29, so just under $30, USD, you can get Namco Collection 1. And I think like for something like legacy carts, like that's fine. I think that's why I keep saying like no Evercade cart should really be above like $30 for older. Like that's fine if you want it. No Pico 1 though. But you can just kind of check here like every now and then, and but look
yeah,
at this like yeah.
as a retailer, though, is it really fine for them just to raise the price on like parts that may be harder to find?
I think for $10, I think that's reasonable, right? Because maybe the way they're getting it, maybe I'm thinking that maybe it's probably costing them more because they're to get it because they're probably not getting these directly from Blaze. They're getting them from some other supplier.
So you think that they may be used? Maybe they're not new.
No, I think that they're new, but I think that maybe like let's see if we like a supplier's like, hey, I happen to still have like X amount of these new still sealed, but I'm going to charge you a little bit more because for whatever reason, because they're out of printer.
I would think that person selling or whatever selling, instead of selling them at an increased price, just a slight increase, why wouldn't they just sell it directly to people who want it for an even higher price?
True. But otherwise, it's interesting that like this Oliver Twins was like 22 and everything else is 18. But like here we go, like Atari Arcade 1 and 2. Those are like 22, so those are like a little bit more. But Atari is a little bit easier to get. Yeah, Data East. The one thing too that I will say, I think why maybe like with the Namcos, if I remember right, those were never sold like in the United States. Like those were only sold like in the UK, if I remember right. Like for the license, they couldn't.
Well, what's funny is I thought there were like carts that only had PEGI logos on them, but I think there's a version of almost every cart that has a non-PEGI version of it. Because when I look on eBay, and I was looking for specific cartridges, like especially like the first 10, I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that there was a non-PEGI version of that cart. And I think there might be, that for every single one of them.
Yeah.
Like even like
but not the Namcos though, because I'm pretty sure because I remember like if you wanted to try like initially when I was getting into Evercade, like an Amazon US, you could not buy like from ever like an official. You could not buy a
Are
bundle
you
with
talking
like
about just Namco 1 or Namco 2 too?
I I think it was Namco 1 and 2. Definitely Namco 1 for sure because that one was bundled in with the Evercade.
That's the thing is that Namco 2 was never. I don't other than like the the first 10 cartridge bundle. I don't think it was in any other bundle. But like I'm just gonna look. Yeah,
Yeah.
Evercade, Namco.
Thank you, Crashline. Yeah, see that's yeah, thank you. See that's the thing. Yeah, I have like I'll have to do to make it easier. I'll have to do a video and take clips from that. But yeah, like the Duke 2, yeah. The funny thing is, I updated it. Like I the first thing I did was update it. Like I did the update through the VS and it worked fine after that. Yeah, exactly. It just yeah, it's like yeah, yeah. That is
Which game
true.
failed on you again? Which game of the 3 failed?
So this was no, this was this was so this was my second cart. This was the replacement cart. The very first one.
Okay, so it was the
Yeah, not
first one that.
yeah, the first one, not Babes. It was the other PS1 game that just didn't work.
Time to Kill. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're
and
saying it would play the video and then fail?
it would never load. Like
Why what I was looking at the contents of the cart the other day, and it hit me why the video plays and then it reloads the cart. It's because they didn't actually put the portion of the disc on the cartridge that had the video on it. The videos are actually ripped from the disc itself and converted into an MP4 format. So it's basically when you load up the game, it loads it boots up an MP4, it plays the video, and then goes back and then loads the actual game.
oh, see you know what that makes sense why it would load it and not load the game then because yeah the funny thing is like on Time to Kill I could let it play through and watch the full video and then it still wouldn't
Yeah,
load.
because
Like,
the video is a separate file from the actual
yeah.
disc. That's why the video would work, but not the game because hadn't loaded anything related to the game at that point.
Yeah. So that one didn't, and because that didn't work, and I knew I was going to get a cart replaced, I didn't want to start playing Duke Advance or anything else because the saves stay on the cart, and then I was like, well, once I send it back, if I don't beat, I'll lose my saves, and so that one I didn't play. And then the second one, yeah, did the update, worked great, and then after about an hour and a half, that's where I noticed like save states and all that weren't working, and then once I took the cart out. Or I restarted it, then it didn't. The cart wasn't detected, and then took the cart out and put it back in. Nothing happened, and that's when I think I was just playing Duke 2 Advance in memory. So yeah, it was just a freaky thing, but yeah, there's a misconception that the actual update process of the carts is breaking them, and I'm like, no, I haven't had that happen. It's just the actual carts themselves like just failing, but not because of writing the update. So yeah, But yeah, with Evercade, I mean, it's interesting. It's like one of those retro products. That things get printed in smaller quantities. It's not as limited as like the Analog Pocket, but you could even see like eventually something like that. Like they'll probably get more of those back in. But yeah, I thought this was a reasonable price. Those looking for Namco. I say like once upon a time, I bought this when like. They weren't reprinted yet. I bought this from a reseller on Amazon. It was like $25 with shipping included. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. I really want that. And then of course you got other stuff. But yeah, it's weird that like how like some of those were like 22 versus 18. But I don't mind a little bit of the price fluctuation. It's just I think even like $50 is a lot for like Namco, where like people like they. I've seen like 75 for both of them on eBay. I mean, people can charge whatever they want, but it gets crazy. And if you still want an EXP with the built-in Capcom games, and you get it with IRAM for just under $150, so that's still there. I think once these completely sell out, I think the price of the original EXPs are going to go up a lot, of course, like everything else.
Yeah, unless they actually get a Capcom cartridge.
Yes. Yeah. which I kind of hope they do, because when I was streaming that the other day, like now that it works with my HDMI switcher, I guess, because that like forces things to actually switch over. I was so happy. I had a blast. I haven't played the Capcom collection really for just like a long time. And the thing is, if you, yeah, exactly to your point, Carl, unless they come out with a cart, not only is this the only way you can play this on a handheld, it's the only way you can play it on a TV through an Evercade device. Of course, there's like the Capcom collection and all. There's other ways, but I think this might.
Yeah. We're talking specifically Evercade. It's not like you couldn't play these games like any other way. I mean, it's
yeah. Which it's interesting because, like, listen, it's at a weird spot because all of us love the physical media and then ownership, right? Like, actually, and the funny thing is, I think even like on Steam, even though that's like all digital, like if I have like, let's say, like a collection of something, or I have a game on Steam versus that I feel ownership over it, because yes, digital stores can go away, although Steam has been like the best digital store. I can still re-download it. Versus like I have a bunch of free games like on Epic Store and Good Old Gaming and all that, but I just haven't bothered to mess with to mess with adding it on Steam Deck, because you have to go through more stuff, right? Like it's nice for the most part being able to plug and play something. Just pointing like Evercade obviously gives you that. So yeah, it's like I could have like on my Steam Deck to play the arcade games, I could have loaded up Coin Ops X, or I could have gone around to EmuDeck to fun. But you know what? It was just nice playing them on something official. All the games are right there with the box art, and it's just made it super easy. And then I'm comfortable playing it on the EXP versus something like a Super Pocket. Alpha is going to be the third. Yeah, we may talk a little bit about that. Now if a cart fails outside of warranty, Blake. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. The issue, like, and again, this isn't the fault of Blaze, but let's say something like the Oliver twins, right? Like that fails, and you want to be like, technically you still have it in your collection, but you're just not going to be able to get it replaced because it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it depends on how it fails. You might be able to fix it.
True. Crow's Ever Repairs. No. See, that's the thing that Capcom. I wish it could do multiplayer as well. I wish I could magically plug in like my Super Pocket and be able to play that on stream like easily. I mean, you could put like a camera on it and do that, but I also want to use a better D-pad. Yeah, see, I mean that's cool that they honor that, but like when you have a full collection, then that only would go good towards like the next one. But at least they do something. So as far as like stuff in the news, I mean that's at least there's not much out there, but at least that's why if you want to get some legacy stuff without paying like obscene prices, you can do that. And this week's polls. So I believe, who was it that gave me the idea to do this? I think was it Sucker MC? I think it might have been. If I forget, I do apologize. But they're like, put Pico versus C64. And so being that these were existing collections, I was just saying like, hey, the one that you pick, you just won't get any more collections, right? Like this isn't one of those like magical universes where like all C60 like existing C64 and Picos would get evaporated from existence. I was just saying like in this case, Pico wins, you'll get more Pico collections, you just won't get any more C64 collections. And yeah.
Oh, well that's easy choice.
Pico
C64 for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want any more Pico collections.
Well, it was a good idea to pit these two against each other, because I want to say that like of a lot of the collections, this gets the most love and hate kind of equally. Kind of meaning like I want to say like most people like really like something like Sunsoft. Very like rarely you'll be like, oh my god, I hate Sunsoft. Don't put out another collect. You know what I mean? Or don't put out another Namco. But this like either people like love Pico or they hate it, right? Like there's people that are just like, nope, I don't like it. We already have 4 collections, no more this year. And kind of same with C64. But then there's the opposite where people are like, no, I love Pico. I love the Discovery. Or C64 is very nostalgic. So yeah, I wanted to purposely put them against each other. I thought that was a great idea. Um,
Well, I'm still waiting for like I don't know if it'll be possible, but I'm still waiting for like the C64 games from like Accolade or Electronic Arts. Those were the C64 games I played.
so the funny thing is, with Dub 64, secret third option, none or both. Only see, and then yeah, and yes, and then there's the arcade camp, which I totally get because I think I think that some people like don't per se like just I don't think they particularly like let's say like hate Pico or just like hate C64. It's just this is taking up a monthly slot and I want my arcade card. So I think there's that too. So the community it's just kind of
Well,
funny. So we have the community in a few different camps.
with Pico, most of the time it's going to be games I've already heard of or played from defunct developers or publishers. That's what Pico is to me. It's just defunct publisher games.
Defunct. Yeah, no, and that's pretty much what it's and what it's supposed to be, but you know, which is not so. And then here's what's interesting when this falls into. So I think like Pico and things like Mega Cats and all like need to exist for discovery and all that, right? But the thing is, something like Pico, I think for most people, let's say who aren't familiar with the Evercade universe, it's not gonna like it's not gonna draw you into buying like Evercade unless unless you're getting it for that, or you're like, oh, okay, unless you're one of those people that look at it, you're like, oh, discovery, I like this. Hey, channel member Toxo, it's all good to be. It's good to be late, and I can relate it to my own experience, and you can tell me, and I think, and other people that have commented that have gotten into Evercade, and you can tell me this would drew you. And that I want to say for most people who like, at least when Evercade first launched, I can't speak for now. That like there's some type of nostalgia. Like for me, it was there's the Atari carts. Ooh, they've got Data East. Ooh, they've got Technos. Ooh, they've got Namco. And then the icing on the cake for me was like the Lynx carts because I was like, hey, that's like the only other than original hardware, that's the only way you could play Lynx on a physical cart. I mean, yes, there's you know, and this was also too before handheld emulators really kicked off. So it was the nostalgia that drew me in. But once I got drawn in, I loved Pico. I loved Mega Cats. I like the discovery. I don't know if it was kind of like that for you.
No.
what did draw you to ever like? Why did you get like what did draw you to buying Evercade?
It was cheap. That's the only reason. I thought the only reason I didn't buy it right away is because I thought it was twice as expensive as it actually was. I didn't realize that I'd be able to buy the original handheld and then get 3 games with it for less than $100. And then when I finally did look it up and I was like saw the price, I was like, oh, this is way cheaper than I thought. And then I just kept collecting it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and see, and that's the other and then that's the other thing too. Like it is, even if you're going for a full set, it's not like you're paying it like all at once. Yeah, $20 a cart, $25 for the Giga carts. Yeah, it's like it's very reasonable. Yeah, and then like Crash Line says, I like finding new games I haven't played along ones that tickled my nostalgia buttons. Exactly. See, exactly. And so I think now, like what draws in like newcomers, like last year it was Duke. Like, oh, okay. It's like, that initially draws you in. And then once you get drawn in, then no, you're saying, Crow, it's cheap. It's like, oh, for $20, oh, I can get this, I can get that. And I can see what we have. And then I think like Tomb Raider, I think that's what's maybe hopefully drawing some people in. But they'll be like, oh, okay.
I wouldn't have gotten the Evercade just for Tomb Raider.
No. But that's kind of like another, like I guess, like one of our bigger like IP / mascots, if you want to call it that. But yeah. So I think, and then a lot of it, like for me, is like like I said, like ownership. Like, yes, on my Steam Deck, I can load up EmuDeck and play like a bunch of different games and all that. But I find not doing that. And I think because there's like such a wide variety of like indie games and other types of titles out there, and I see a bunch of stuff that I'm like, this should come to Evercade, and it makes me angry that I mean it's all licensing that it hasn't. But I'm hoping the Giga carts open up that opportunity. Like I don't just want to. I mean, don't get me wrong. Give me PS1 games. PS1 all day. But like I want to. I think we need more indie game. We need like the Astro Bros. Like that was freaking amazing. Like I love that. So yeah, that's So that's kind of the thing. I think that Evercade needs something nostalgic to draw people in, and then after that, then it's kind of fun. But and for me too, like I want to say I like that it keeps me focused. Like when you're overwhelmed by what to play, like 2 cards come out, I have that popped in my VS, I jump on, I stream it, I play it, and then with some games like Skulljagger, I have the chat to help me out, which is awesome. For stuff like that.
So how much time did you spend playing Farming Simulator C64 edition?
Maybe like 5 minutes or less, dude. No. Here's what's funny. That I don't think was really meant to be a real game, and I'm being serious because when you look at the history,
you don't know the story. You don't know the story behind it.
I thought in the booklet, like they said that version of it was given to people who bought like some special edition.
Yes,
right.
But
yeah,
that's not the true origin of it.
Oh,
the true origin of it was that it was an April Fool's joke.
Oh, well,
just decided to make, and then included it in a deluxe bundle edition of Farming Simulator 19. And then it just somehow won't. And then then the popularity of it got to the point where they actually made 500 real cartridges of it. So there's actually already a real physical version of it that you can play in a real C64. But you can still go online to the Farming Simulator website and buy the ROM for $5.
Yeah.
So they made, and it was I think it was like the owner of the company, Red Giant. I think he was the one that actually made the C64 version.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was something that was just like, it kind of felt like something that was maybe put together either quickly or for a purpose, or just it started off as an April Fool's joke. Makes sense.
The trailer is still on YouTube, or I think it was like the April Fool's trailer.
Yeah, but something like that, I don't know. But again, I will say that like for $20 for like most of the cards, and actually even like Gremlin Collection, right? I've got my fun out of it. I've got my, maybe I'll do a stream of that someday. See, that's the thing. What's neat about having the physical media and seeing it, you can just go behind you and you can just grab a cart, pop it. I've got my $20 worth for everything. Some carts are obviously that I've enjoyed better than others, but
it's one thing. Okay, it being physical media. Yeah, you could say you could turn around and see what you have, but you almost can't really do that with the Evercade collections because you could see the names of the cartridges, but what if you don't remember what games are on the cartridge? You still have to like.
Well, now now you can go into the firmware and you could they have that digitally.
Yeah, you can do that, but if that defeats the purpose of looking on your shelf, then.
True. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, like with all those behind me, they're all up against each other. Like, you're like,
you have to pull it out and look at the back of the box where it has the games listed.
But see, and for me, that's like, I guess maybe, kind of like, I guess some people who still like to read physical books than to read something on an e-reader, like taking out the book from a bookshelf, maybe pulling out that vinyl, and that's the whole nostalgia part. Like, what was that game? Or maybe sometimes, yes, you look it up online, but it's just kind of neat just to be able to pull that game out. And you could argue you could do the same thing with the Switch, but we get instruction booklets and all that. Let's see. I was depressed Saturday and read a bunch about retro consoles. Evercade sounded perfect. Shipped overnight, and that Sunday was amazing. Oh, cool. That's how you got into that. Cheap to play makes me feel good knowing the license. I can download all the stuff. The small bite size curate. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. They're curated, and that's where I kind of feel like you're kind of paying for the whole package. They're curated, and arcade carts have never been available like in that format at home. You know what I mean? Like in a cart. So that's what makes it kind of cool. I'm pretty sure now.
You can say
you'll find you'll be like, actually, here's the system with this. Yeah, but but like in an actual cart, like there've been home like arcade consoles, but like on an actual like cart,
by saying that, you're saying that these arcade games have never been available for emulation for any other system
in a cart.
Okay, well, what about on a disc? Does that count?
Oh no! Oh, I see. Yeah, like on the PlayStation 2 is like tons of like there's like a Taito collection and
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we have had arcade games on physical media before. It's
yeah,
not like this is
yeah,
the
yeah.
first time this has happened.
That's true. But like on an actual cart. But yeah, they've seen it. But I want to say that it's more like obtainable because then you can just pop it in the Evercade. It's easier than like finding a PS2 and having to hook it up. So yeah,
Okay, but you're comparing like back when the PS2 was out and these games have just come out. It was easier to find than they are now. How easy
true,
are these Evercade cartridges going to be able to find? Yeah, you're going to be able to find them in 10 or 20 years,
true. No,
especially
those
if
are
they're
all
going,
yeah,
especially if they're going legacy in a year.
yes. No, those are all valid points, and so that's and like so, and that's where and that's where I hate to say like having something and like I like having a few of those like digital collections on Steam because then I know that those games will be unless Valve goes out of business in 20 years, which those games will be available
Well, guess
to
what?
go and
You know what? Here's the thing with Steam and digital games on Steam. If for whatever reasons Valve goes out of business and you can no longer connect to Steam or download the games on Steam, hey, guess what? There's still going to be a way to get those games. You know,
yeah
you're going to make them available, even maybe
yeah
modify them so you're not looking for a Steam connection.
yeah
Maybe
yeah.
not every game, but certainly the most popular ones.
Well, the cool at least like the cool if that did happen, that's where I'm like okay, quickly like fill then that's where like I would madly download everything that I purchased to like my internal 512 fill up my 512 SD, buy like a you know what I mean? Then that way you could like, and you could do this on your computer too. Just download and install everything, and then you could still, you can still play it. Hopefully have all your saves and everything would be. So you could still actually there was I can't remember the name of the store, but there and I'm going back maybe 10 years ago. There was a store that sold like mainly just indie games like Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's got its start. I can't remember the name of the store, but they like it's like okay, like how Steam like you can't you can't just have any game published on Steam. Like they have to go through and like make sure that it's not like that it's like a legit game
Um,
that it would sell
I,
well.
I don't think that's the case. I think anybody can publish anything they want on Steam.
They used
I mean, it,
there used to be more strict guidelines, but with this other indie store, they literally you could put anything. And I have a really good bad game that I need to find and stream on it. But like it didn't have like all the cool tools and interfaces and things that Steam did. And a lot of the times they'd give you a Steam key event, like the devs of the game would give you a Steam key. And like there's bundle stores that don't exist anymore that would just like you could get you could get like 5 or 10 of those games for a couple bucks. It was awesome. Like I miss and like Humble Bundle was a lot better. Luckily now we have Fanatical to take its place. But
wait. You saying Humble Bundle's no good?
it's not as good as it used to be.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen the beat 'em up bundle they just put out?
So let me just put it. Yes, but yeah, I saw that, and it's good. But it's like what 14. Let's just say back in the day, you could get that with like maybe like 5 games for $1. Like they removed they removed the dollar option, which for me like I would almost buy every single humble bundle for $1 because it was like how could you not if it had a couple games unless they were just like too horrible. I used to always do that.
Okay, well that's probably why they raise it. It's for charity, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so.
Well, because what you used to be able to do is they would say put in any amount as you want, even as low as $1, and I think maybe too many people did that. But it was just kind of like, yeah, I kind of want this game. No, that bundle that you put out quality.
The beat 'em up bundle, it's still 7 games for $20.
Yeah, no, that's incredible.
One of the games, one of the games, River City Girls 2, is $40 game.
Yeah,
By itself.
Yes. But what I kind of like Fanatical does is you don't have to pick all those games. You could just pick a couple and kind of make your own bundle. But no,
they do things differently, but you're still not going to maybe get exactly everything you want. They do have bundles. They have mystery ones, but you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. But I did think of the name of that indie. God, I can't. It was like indie something. I don't know, but it was like you could play like a lot of experimental game. But anyways, they said it was going down. They gave everyone the opportunity to download stuff. I think I got Steam keys for most of my things. But that's kind of one of the reasons as far as like modern day consoles, like I'm not as into them as much kind of for that reason. Like my PS4, yeah, like my daughter still plays The Sims on it. I'll still play like the Konami collections I own on there. I'll still play like the Sega collections of Miss Pac-Man, but like I feel like for that I don't feel as comfortable spending money on it because that, you know what I mean. You kind of feel like you're renting games, especially the PS3 store going down, Xbox 360. It's kind of crappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My PS4 and Xbox One are both in Tupperware containers on the shelves alongside every other system that I have, like going all the way to like the Atari 2600, just because they never got played anymore. The only console I actually have hooked up to my here's what I have hooked up over there. I mean, aside from the Evercade, which is aside from the Evercade, and these aren't really hooked up. I just have like an HDMI plug. I just kind of swap between them if I want to play something. But the Switch is permanently hooked up. I don't get, but even that I haven't been playing recently at all. And then I have my Atari 2600 Plus sitting there, and a mini PC. That's it.
Yeah. So it's so for me it's kind of like Evercade covers me having like the nostalgia of being able to get stuff and not having to pay like obscene prices for carts and having the physical media. And then for me, Steam covers like everything, like covers everything else. Like as far as like modern Indian retro, if I want to emulate or play that game that I know isn't going to come to Evercade, it's nice to. It's nice to have
a lot of these indie games are also on like the PS4 and PS5 or whatever.
Yeah.
They're more visible on Steam and more than likely going to go on sale on Steam.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Sales, and like not only that, like Hades 2, for example, is in early access right now, and that's the one thing I love about PC gaming. It'll eventually go to all the consoles, but once it's finalized and polished and done. But if you want to check something out, get a discount on the game as it develops, it's neat to.
Well, not only that, but it almost seems like everything that's on console is coming to Steam too.
Yeah,
like it's almost, there's very few things, and the things that are console exclusive, especially on like the PlayStation, I don't even care about.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, cheap to play, good they're licensed. Okay, I read that. Yeah, so ownership is something that's nice. Pico One and True, drew me in. Also, Oliver Twist. Yeah, there's stuff. Yeah, there's definitely stuff like that. Top Gear is awesome. It's called Option.
You mean Top
Option Paralysis at Evercade is a great solution for that issue. Oh, when I was talking being overwhelmed on what to play. No, I know, I love that. Amy Dick is everything that will never come to. Yes, exactly. Like if there's certain, like for example, but for me though, like. I'll fire that up if there's something I know that I want to play, like Jackal, for example, and then I can turn on retro achievements if I want, and that's something that a game that like I love, but it's not available like anywhere else. Usually I just won't go through just to like browse between like a bunch of stuff. But yeah, and also it makes it really easy for me to and also the other thing for creating content, if I want like when I did that, like my top 5 Konami games, like that made it like really easy. So I love using it for that. Yeah, Home Computer Heroes is pretty fun. Yeah, we need more. You tend to skip the blue ones. No, Home Computer Heroes was great. And what's interesting, like what was that one? Actually, I got to go back to playing that one. That like action RPG, you could download it for free on the dev's website, so it was kind of neat. Like even if you don't have an Evercade, you could play that.
I think now that Pico 3 is done, I think that's the next collection we need to talk about is Home Computer Heroes 1. I think that was the one that was bundled with 3.
I agree. Yeah, when we get the band back together, and all 4. Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely, that's Or a few of us, or if you guys want to start the next week, wish for a Gremlin 2. It's funny. The joke is like a Gremlin 3. Like I would just love if like Blaze officially like released it, like they just skipped it, or they put like a 2 with a slash. And then if they just like, I don't know. It would be funny if they just kind of if they just paid tribute if they put in the insert. We skipped two because like YouTuber Ed from the Evercade Effect. This is the collection he didn't like the most. So this was we
Well,
had to
okay, you know what's
just troll
funny
him.
about that? But you familiar with the Leisure Suit Larry series? Did you know that there's no? Did you know that there literally is no Leisure Suit Larry 4? It goes from 1 through
No. I'm
5
familiar with it. No, I didn't know that.
because Al Lowe said that he would never make a Leisure Suit Larry 4 after he made 3. So after when they went to go make another game, they had to call it 5 because he said he would never make 4.
That's hilarious.
So it's like, oh yeah, Leisure Suit Larry 4 is called Leisure Suit Larry 4: The Case of the Missing Floppies.
That's hilarious. You know what? We need another renovation too, and Elemental Masters needs to be on there. Oh my god, that's like such an awesome shoot 'em up. But the other thing too that why Gremlin is such a sore point for me too is because that's where we like. I think I ordered it from Fun. Yeah, I went ahead, ordered it from Fun Stock because VGA Plus was gonna take. So I paid extra to get that because VGA Plus they weren't gonna get it. It was one of those rare issues where only the UK got all the shipments and like other parts of the world we're gonna have to wait. And Gremlin 2 is the one that came. Gremlin is the one that came with it, and I was kind of like, why couldn't it have been the opposite way for the cart to fail? You know what I mean? So that kind of made it more. Oh god, it'll be a Giga cart. A new, I wanted to call it a new batch. Or actually, I think I did use the Gremlins thumbnail when I did talk about that. And Shrek booklets and stickers. Yes, they do pack-in cards, Morph Cat. Yeah, no, that is neat. You get all these other little doodads. I don't understand why CEX stock Evercade, but not. Huh. Yeah, that's Humber. That's what. It's not that it's a bad card. It used to be like crazy, but that's kind of like for example, like there was a bundle where it had like the remake of Strider and something else, and that was only $1. And I picked that up like years ago. Of course, I couldn't play Strider the remake on my PC at the time because I was running like Windows 7. But but that's something I could revisit and play on my Steam Deck. So yeah, it's kind of. But that one that you pointed out is kind of good. The Boomer Shooter bundle was amazing. Evercade, Nintendo, Steam for Knee, never. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I mean, it's like if I was gonna have a modern console, like I understand like having like a Switch because you can get those like physical collections of of retro and other things that just aren't gonna be there. Oh, Miami Hotline, Capsize Swap, yeah, which carries over, yeah, exactly. Nope, yeah, no kidding. Gremlin needs to license Zool too. I played on the physical Jaguar. Oh, I did not know that. Where's Elisa Larry? Where's the Alpha News? I know. Where's the Alpha News? So I have thought about it could be another possibility for the Alpha. I don't know. Maybe it's okay. So y'all know Ambernick. This is the SP, but y'all know Ambernick put out like their handheld. And it's big. It's like it's bigger than the SP, but clearly it's designed off of it, right? And what got me thinking, because they do have like the USB is also like an OTG port, which means you could go ahead and plug in a controller. Like you could plug in like a USB-C controller. So then I was thinking, like, what if Evercade had its own model of like a clamshell? Because it could, it's like the Alpha, like the one. You can only has one arcade slot. But you could play it like to be portable. You could play it like this. I mean, it would have like a bigger, like 3.5-inch screen, but you could set it on your desk and still use a real controller. And maybe like it would come with like plug in like a USB-C to USB adapter. I don't know.
I really don't think so because they already just came out with like the Evercade EXP-R. So why do that and then also do that? Like. I would be more feasible if they hadn't already announced EXP-R. I can't see them coming out with another handheld again this year.
I know, it was just kind of more of a very far reach, but just because they wanted, I don't know, because they just want to do something different. Maybe they'd be because people love clamshell, because like the DS, 3DS, that's been popping up. Like I've seen like a lot of YouTubers covering that, mainly because like
a lot of people don't like it too. Because remember the 3DS. After the 3DS, they came out with the alternate version, which didn't have a hinge. That was
like
just
the
one
2DS,
cell.
yeah,
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 the
that's a
2DS.
keyboard.
That's what it was.
Weird. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
Because because
Yeah,
it was more durable. Like if you have something with a hinge, it might break. You know, it's a weak point.
it is. But if it's yeah, that's true. If it's but I was thinking like for portability, it's like it's an in between thing. Like you don't like it's like hey, you don't want to get a super pocket. You want something with a little bit bigger screen that's more pocketable. Maybe you want to plug in other controllers. You don't want to. I don't know. It'd be crazy.
I can't see them coming out with a handheld where you can plug in a controller. I just can't see that.
But so here's what's interesting. So like, what's interesting? Yeah, I didn't like ground them, but Bedisa did. So that is kind of the balance. Like with Evercade, is like there are collections that other people don't like and hate, but then other people like love those collections. So it's you know what I mean. It's kind of.
Oh, speaking of which, I forgot. You want to see something portable?
Yes.
Nothing is more portable. Let's see. Nothing is more portable than this.
Yeah, tiny.
Look
God,
at
man,
like you remember the Ardu Boy. This is the Ardu Boy. This is even smaller than that.
Yeah.
And this is the size of a credit card.
No, that's what I would imagine. That's like what like a cat would use. Like if a cat could play games, like I could just see like a kitty like pull it, like having it like hidden in their collar or something. You know, like Saint Bernards have like whoop, and then like
yeah. This is like the Zoolander tiny phone.
Yes, I'm like that's like I'm like that's your cat's handheld that the cat can play games. Actually, that would make a great video. Yeah. Windows, ha! I understand the no. What's fun? No, dude. Like I'm like listen, like it's like for. I mean, I get, but no. I also consider myself like a Linux user. I love Linux. Hence the name when I had like Retro Kill Dash 9. That was a Linux.
I just felt I was so limited as to what I could do. I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't. Okay, I'm just going back to Windows.
Like, listen, I kind of like I don't know. The thing I love about Linux, yes, you have to like learn it, but Linux will do exactly what you want. You just have to tell, you know, and you're not restricted.
It can't play every single Steam game.
You know what? Actually, with Proton, everything that I've thrown at it, with the exception of Wolfenstein 3D, only because I haven't messed around with it more. Like there's community everything I've thrown at it has worked.
Plus, like all the devices you have are going to be optimized better for Windows than Linux.
But maybe, but the Proton layer, that's what makes it work. Otherwise, like if everything just had to be ported to Linux, but Proton handles and can play stuff better than Windows because it feeds it all the libraries. You don't have those weird issues. I don't know. But then on the back end, like Linux is the only OS that I know of, or that like it'll let you delete it. Like like when you're the root user in Linux, it assumes you know what you're doing, and it'll like, okay, you want to delete yourself. Well, but anyways, yeah, no, I like that. Like for lack of a better word, what I like is the fact that most modern day consoles are locked down. Like you can't go into your PS4 or PS5 or Xbox unless you jailbreak it. Like a Steam Deck is jailbreak. You can do anything that you want with it, which it's nice. But also with that, like the Evercade OS is based off of Linux. Like most modern handhelds, like Linux is the better OS, like for emulation, more so than even like Android.
Yeah, but just having a Linux operating system. Dealing with that, you do have to know a lot more about how things are operating. That's just more time you're spending trying to optimize things yourself rather than just working.
True, but that's with but like with Steam though, they take all that out. Like you just go in, hit download, play the game.
But that's a little bit different too. Exactly. You're talking about the Steam Deck, right?
Yes. I'm not talking about like, and you can still load like there's a version of Linux you can still load on your desktop, and you could use like those, like you could still use like those different No, I'm like, okay, let me put it this way. Like at some point when I upgrade and get a new computer, let's say like a new computer that can do gaming / Adobe editing, it's going to be a PC.
Well, yeah, like, that's what I'm talking about.
Like I'm not gonna like in that case like Linux isn't gonna be my main OS because it's just super stupid easy, and I can play games on that. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. But then at the same time, like for something like a handheld, I don't want Linux. I don't want Linux. I mean, sorry, I don't want
Yes,
Windows on it.
that's a completely different environment. I'm talking
Yes.
about like
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
main computer that
Yeah,
you're
yes. Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
at, right? Like you're going to play games on it and stuff.
Yeah. And I agree because some things are easier. I mean, there was a point in time where I had like Linux as like my main OS, and I was like, okay, I'm tired of like having to hack and compile to get certain stuff to work every time. But then sometimes it was like a challenge. So yeah, I hear you. But like for gaming, um,
And when I'm
oh
talking about
hey,
drivers, I'm talking about like I could get the latest drivers from NVIDIA for
yeah,
Windows.
yeah. RMGB TV is thinking, oh, it's obvious. It's obviously going for a rotisserie chicken oven that plays Evercade cards. Yeah, for the alpha.
KFC already did something similar. So
How about a square screen to avoid the whole rotation? Oh, that'd be interesting. Hey, Gene joke. Oh, I was gonna say Gene joke. That game that you that you set Squid Head. I did briefly like play that on a. I did briefly play that on my PC, which is pretty cool. Um I do need to pop that over and see if I can get that working on Steam Deck with the controller. Um, that would be a cool vid. And just to tell, like that would be something awesome that could be like an Indie Heroes 4, by the way, from like the few minutes that I've that I played that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, like Gene Joke is an artist. He's done like some programming and making like some games, I think, for fun on the side. So all cool stuff. All cool stuff. I used to like using computers. Now the automation and infinite updates. Yeah, that could like believe me. That is a real thing. Like when I boot up the Steam Deck, it's like updating this. I'm like, I just want to get into play. Or if you want to play a game
that's like literally, I don't think you're going to get away from that. Like
no,
like even on like it doesn't matter on console, especially. It seemed like every time I turned it on, it needed to update.
Yeah, but the nice thing with Evercade, you can get away. I mean, it's a total different thing, but yeah, you can just like plug in a cart and play it, and you're like, I'm good.
Well, there are updates too, but yeah, it's not as frequently, not nearly as frequently.
Exactly. It's not as frequently or demanding, and then because you don't have like shader cache and other stuff and all that.
Yeah, Windows does do annoying things, and one of the things it does that's annoying is the updates, because I like how it like tries to update and reboot overnight and tries to pull up things the way they were, but it doesn't get it quite right, and it just acts like it never rebooted. It's like, I know you rebooted. Don't pretend like you did.
Fun stuff. Hey, I Heart Retro. Welcome. Oh, channel member, my cock hurts. I wish I could have deleted the last hour of work so I could have been here sooner. No worries. Great to have you here. Eric Harper, hey, welcome. A lot of us late to the party. No, and that's where you can watch it on the replay. I mean, I always leave these. Oh, you missed everything. You missed everything.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's 11 now.
No, I need to, right? And here's kind of like talking about consoles and some bad things. Here's like a dumb thing that can happen with consoles, right? Somebody like so you all know, like with the Decky loader on Steam Deck, you can load like all these plugins and add-ons which add more functionality. But if like the developer of those add-ons don't keep things up to date, then sometimes those can break. And one of the things that I liked is there's an add-on called the Toolbox, which literally you can click one button and you could enable SSH. So that on my PC, I could just use WinSCP, put in a username or password, connect, and I could dump stuff over. You can use it. There are other ways where you could kind of plug it in through USB transfer is really slow. Anyways, I either need to wait for them to update. I need to find another way to get that transferred over to you. That game transferred over to it. I might have to go old school and just copy it to a USB key and plug it in. But no, I do need to mess around with that. Next week I'll be in an undisclosed or towards a location for a week visiting family. I'm gonna have to wait to that, but I do want to play Squid Head. I bet it would look amazing, especially the controls and everything worked. Because that is something I do. If I can get that to work, I want to make a video and be like, hey, this should be like an Indie Heroes 4. Like that would be like a lot of fun. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you see the art, just imagine that as a game. It's like Pretty cool, a platformer. Definitely true. There's something for everyone. My Worms barely see him play. Yeah, I admit to I admit to that too. Crow's probably the biggest Worms fan.
I'm not the biggest fan. I'm just, in fact, it's not even the best version of Worms. If I'm going to play Worms, I'm going to play it on PC. But that's why, if I have the Evercade, that's why I bring the Worms collection, because Worms is good to play.
One thing that I did think was really cool that they did with Worms that I would like to see them do with more PS1 games. You could change like the aspect. I think Pete or was it you or somebody figured this out. You could change the aspect rate.
That's in the options. That's just built into the game. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I wish more people would do that, and then it could fill. You could play it in widescreen, and it looks great. Like I wish more the developers did that. Like that's awesome.
Well, that was just what that's what Team 17 did when they developed Worms for the PlayStation. They're like, hey, what if people want to play this in a widescreen? Like, think about it when it came out. How nobody really had 16:9 TVs in the PlayStation when that. So, like, for them to think of doing that was extra work that they did.
Yes,
very few people.
Yeah, no, it was really out there. Yeah, it was really out there thinking. And then like nowadays it'd be like it's a practical application. When you see like a lot of like retro inspired games, they all play like, they're all designed. But yeah, back then, no, most people, it's like, yeah, no, an arcade stick, an official one would be cool. If the arcade stick, if it is an alpha with one slot in it, it's got a split for now. Cool, Crash Line, thanks for coming here. Any good golf games? No, I don't think we do.
On the Evercade, Awesome Golf isn't bad.
Yeah,
we could do a lot better.
But for the Neo Geo? I'm trying to remember like whatever.
You're thinking of Turf Masters, Neo Turf Masters.
I've heard that that's good. I've heard that's
the one everybody talks about on Neo Geo.
Yeah,
not Top Players Golf. You don't want Top Players Golf. You want Neo Turf Masters. Those are the two golf games on Neo Geo.
No idea. Yeah, it's interesting. So the thing is, it's mainly because it's like a Linux file system. Like you can't once you format it to install games, like you can't even you can't.
Well, I would imagine that if for the normal user, they're not even going to realize what OS it's running. It's not going to matter.
Yeah. No, they don't. Yeah, they don't care. If I have to, I'll go old school. I'll use like a USB-C. It's just I just have to find the time. But yeah, no, I definitely that is a video. If I can get that to work, that is a video that I want to make. Otherwise, it's the great thing is pretty much you just like copy it over and then you just like run the executable, and then either it works or it doesn't, and you can try the different protons and all that. There's other libraries you have to install. Okay, so Pika 1 drew you in as well. Would pay big money for golf on the NES.
Really, that one? Wait, why that one?
Yeah, like there's better Mario golf games.
That game isn't worth big money. Why would you pay big money for it?
No, I doubt the alpha. No, it's not going to be anything like major, like running.
If we are going to start to get DOS games, we should get Lynx, because that was a good golf game back then.
Kick-ass football game.
Oh, soccer? What's wrong with sensible soccer?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, listen, unless it's like a major like something like Mutant League Hockey or NBA Jam, I just don't think a lot of those like retro sports games.
When you said we need a good football game, I was thinking, yeah, we do. All we got is that power football game. That's no good.
All I can say is whenever I go to like retro gaming stores, they have a big collection of sports games. Like that's like the most like common, sports games and shovelware are the most common that like people are wanting to get rid of. Just
depends on the sports game, because it'd be great if somehow you could get Tecmo Bowl.
Neo Turf Masters is one of the major title from IRIM. Oh, title 2.
See, if we could get another Commodore 64 collection, but with Accolade games, we could get 4th and Inches, and I played that one a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we're not going to get anything like Tiger Woods because that, like the name.
Yeah, that and it's EA.
So Sensible Soccer, that was like of all the sport, that was my favorite one of all the sports games that we'd got. Like that, like because that one really
No,
felt like
well,
arcadey.
yeah, the only downside to it is that it's not the Amiga version that everybody wanted. It's a Genesis version, but I still enjoyed it. It's probably I'm not a big fan of soccer, but I enjoyed that one.
I thought that was Sensible Soccer. I thought that was a PS1. I thought it was a PS1 game.
No, that's Genesis.
There was another PS1 soccer game. I can't remember that. Then maybe I'm getting it confused.
Yes, that was. Oh, you know what? That was the budget title one where power ups show up on the field.
Yes, that was the
Remember
one that I
name it?
liked. Yes, that was arcadey. Yeah. Okay, maybe it wasn't
I
Sensible.
hated. I didn't like that one at all.
I think just one of them, like the resolution is like a little tiny. You want the Game Freak. Sorry, not Game Freak. I just want a cart with bet.
Well, and then there was another one. I can't remember. I think it was a PS1. It was another PS1 soccer game, and I hated that one because the camera angle never really worked that well, and I was always getting confused which way my players were headed. And what was funny was I could never score a goal. When I finally scored a goal, I scored a goal, only to realize I scored it on my own goal.
Yeah. I know. Wasn't it like Pico 2 that had that like football game that was unreleased where you could like beat up and like I forget. Trying to remember
I think that was well. I think it was released. I think it was a budget game.
Oh, okay. Are you familiar with Batsugun? I'm probably mispronouncing that.
It's a shoot 'em up, I think.
Oh, okay. Then I'm loving my shoot 'em ups.
See it.
Yeah, the tricky thing, licensing. Yeah, see, that's thanks. I agree with you. Yeah, I don't really think they do hold up too well because here's the other huge problem: is that sports games like that work best when you have like another live person to play, like in couch co-op. Like I think doing like single player sports games, like you lose a lot.
I think the game that you were talking about was Football Madness.
Yes, Football Madness. That wasn't too bad. I mean, if we got something like Pigskin, like that was a pretty good arcade, you know, or something like NBA Jam.
Jerry Glanville's Pigskin Brawl. But that again isn't a real football game.
No.
That's like a medieval fake sport. That's like the Beast Ball that we got almost.
Yeah. I was like, Actua Soccer is actually good. I think So that one, like that one.
But that's the one I was thinking of. It was, what was it called though? It was here it was called some. You know what it was? It was called Actual Soccer in Europe. Here it was called VR Soccer.
Oh, okay.
What I found really funny about that is that in Europe, the tagline for Actual Soccer was that it was better than VR because it was so realistic. And then they go ahead and call it VR Soccer in the US.
That's nuts. Anthony Chipmunk! Oh, yeah.
The funniest thing about actual football is that they left the making of video in the ROM on the cartridge. So you can watch the making of actual football video on that cartridge in the game. I don't remember if it's hidden behind a code or not, but it's there.
Okay, it's one of your top flying shooters. Awesome. Then yeah, no, I love you my shooters. Oh, Mega Man Soccer. Yeah, that would be crazy. Or like, yeah, the Mutant League. Just do a dual cart of the Mutant League football and soccer, and no, Mutant League hockey.
It's football and hockey.
Yeah, I'm sold. But I don't know. It's just listen, like, okay. So here's kind of my other take on sports. So like, and again, I don't want this. What I'm going to say, don't want this to be offensive. And again, if you like sports games, this is cool. But for me, when I was a kid, like if we just wanted to play like baseball with friends or basketball, like I did that in real life, right? And so I kind of feel like kind of the same reason I'm not like a huge like VR fan and everything, the current technology. I honestly feel like I would rather go out and play the actual like sport for something. This doesn't include like racing games. So with the exception of like something like Mutant League Hockey or NBA Jam, that's very like arcade-like. That's just my opinion. So I'm not a big fan of these retro arcade. Retro.
What
not
if
arcade.
it's
retro.
What if it's raining outside here? You don't have access to the field, or there's lots of reasons why.
I know, but it's just kind of one of those
sports.
I mean, listen, it's kind of one of those things where I've seen like you can get like, like not light gun games, but like let's say to play like a first person shooter like Doom, I would rather use like a keyboard and mouse than use like a gun because I like playing video games. Like I like to know that I'm playing a video game. I don't want anything 100% super realistic. That's just me. Like I said, that's cool for people. And, I don't mean to offend anyone that likes all that, but like for me, I just, I'm
Well, yeah,
looking into.
I like sports games more
So,
if they're the less realistic they are for
Oh,
somewhat realistic and more arcadey. I don't care if it has real player names in it. In fact, I prefer if it's got fake teams and fake people in it.
yes, yes, like Arch Rivals. No, thank you, Dubs. Yes, arcade, not Sims.
Arch Rivals, yeah.
Yeah, Arch. I don't like games that are Sims. Like in general, when they become too realistic and it's just not as fun. Yes, thank you. Yes, exactly.
Arch Rivals was like I would say it was like almost like the proto NBA Jam, but it was not made by Midway. But then there's but like the pre NFL Blitz was super high impact and high impact football. I'd like to see those actually. I loved that game in the arcade. You know why? Because every time you scored a touchdown, it gave you a trading card in the machine itself. And then I learned that it didn't matter if it was you or the computer that scored a touchdown; it still gave you a card. Just as long as the touchdown was scored, you could get a card.
Yeah, no, I hear you, DF. It's with that, but here's kind of like how I like feel. It's like, and the key being retro. Like, let's say I kind of feel like if you really like for that reason, like, hey, I really want to play these sports games. I like it more that I like that they're more like a sim. I want all these cool features. Then I kind of feel like you probably want to play like the modern, like AAA sports titles that have like all those bells and whistles and all those cool things. You know what I mean? We're like the retro version.
As a kid, though, playing those sports games lets you learn the rules of the sports better. Like, I wouldn't know most of the rules of hockey if I didn't play so many hockey games.
True. Yeah, I mean it's subjective. I just like, for me though, like sometimes, at least in the Evercade, getting like these more like unknown like retro games, I just kind of feel like they feel more like shovelware kind of thrown on a cart sometimes to me, and that's.
I mean, think about it this way: it's like saying, "Oh, why have virtual pinball? Like when you can just go out and play the pinball machines." But the thing is, it's not so easy to just go out and play those pinball machines sometimes.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, I feel like virtual pinball is a better conversion comparing like sports. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's not. It's day and night. It's like, yeah, it might feel like, if you haven't played pinball in a while, it might feel like it's so realistic. But then when you play real pinball, you're like, oh yeah, it's nothing like it. Think of it this way: it's like when you buy a driving game, like you're playing Gran Turismo. And you're like driving in that. Oh yeah, this feels realistic. And then you get in your car and you drive. It's not the same thing. It's totally different.
Well, yeah, I just can't like smash into no. But okay, so this is where like when it comes to driving games, I will like when it comes to driving games and like light gun games, that I'm definitely more of a snob in that like I want like for like drive. I want to have like the pedals. I want like the full like experience. Like
it doesn't matter. You could have the whole cockpit thing. And you even have like a fan blowing on you, have a rumble seat, you can rumble this, rumble that. You can make it as realistic as possible, but it's still not going to be anything like driving in real life.
No, but see, I like that though, because like I don't enjoy driving in real, like with traffic and all that. But like, like to me, it's kind of like being on a racetrack, right? Like I love driving games because you can pretty much do whatever you can do whatever you want. But like for me though, like playing like a home port of a game, yeah, like Outrun or something, there's still some fun to be had, but it's like the steering wheel. And then like light gun games, like yes, you better have something like equivalent like setup where you can use a light gun at home. Otherwise it's not the same as the arcade, versus just like using a controller and like shooting at stuff. So and that's where like Operation Wolf, yes, there's some fun to have on that on the Super Pocket, but come on, like compared to like using a light gun or something else, it's not really the same.
Well, as compared to using a real gun in a real war, it's not the same.
No, but I don't know. But yeah, but it depends what you're doing. But yeah, but the difference though is like in a game like you can get like with a railgun, you're not just gonna go and shoot a bunch of like there's like a huge my god that'd be horrible. Like it's like and kind of like same with driving a car. Like that's why everybody likes GTA's. You can crash. You can do things that are just fun in a game without consequences, and it's all fake, right? That's what's fun about it. Like and that's what I'm saying. I don't need things to be super realistic. Like that it's fake versus in real life that would just be like horrible and only like an insane person would do. You know what I mean? So that's.
Well, I mean, there's people that like get really into the simulation aspect, look at Flight Simulator and such. There's no,
Oh yeah.
there's no, trying to kill anybody in those games. You just fly
No,
the
no, no.
plane.
Yeah, and I think that's fine and that's awesome. I don't want those like realistic games to be in Evercade. That's all I'm saying. Like,
But again, to that point, just because you're really good at Flight Simulator doesn't mean you're going to be able to fly a real plane at all.
True. No, no. Well, it's just like Guitar Hero, right? Like, no, that you can't. You're not going to be able to play a real guitar because it's.
Oh, okay. Well, there is that other one. There was Rocksmith, where you actually did learn to play a real guitar to play that game.
Even the best Sims, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and I guess like my whole thing with like a Gremlin 2, like because that like that only had like what 5 games, maybe 6 games. I know it was an easy license, but I was like, man, it was just like for me like that game where you don't even play a sports game, you're just like the manager, and it's all about number.
Yeah, but the thing is that's a really popular game in Europe. I know I don't get it, but I don't understand it. I don't really, but whatever, people like it.
Yeah. And I get that. Here's what I'm glad to see that Blaze is doing. Thank God that they got like Sunsoft, right? Get more Japanese developers. Like maybe like it's kind of funny. Like everybody like loves Konami. Everyone like for me like Japanese developers are like just like the best like for retro games and consoles. And I don't maybe that's just my
here's
opinion.
The thing is I don't know if we really want to see a Sunsoft 3 because. A lot of the games that came out before Master Blaster that by Sunsoft were really bad. You remember Arabian, right?
Yes,
Sunsoft's earlier games, not quite match up to Blaster Master.
No. I wasn't a big fan of that game because that third level was frustrating.
There's a lot more early Sunsoft games that are like that.
Yeah. Well, then maybe we just have this, but you know what I mean? Like there's other, like we go after Konami, like there's other things. Well, I'll tell you why they're missing Sinden. It's because it's expensive, right? I want to say, I think you can get a Sinden light gun without any force feedback, minimum bells and whistles. I think maybe for $100 or maybe it's like $70. Maybe the costs have come down more, but they would probably have to bundle that with a cart.
Yeah. How much? Because I swear, like the most expensive one is like $150.
Oh, maybe they've come. What is the current price of a Sinden?
I don't know, but Sinden's isn't even your only option. There's more than one.
I think it's the cheapest. I'm gonna have to see.
Because if I ever got back to the reason I have that mini computer hooked up to my TV is because I was gonna set it up for all this emulation and stuff. But I never really did that. Order light gun. Then shop.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too.
Yeah, 100 and okay. Oh no, one gun with recoil, $160. But then you get the pedal. For some reason, the pedal, like you would get in Time Crisis, costs more than the gun. That's $250.
Yeah. So if we take a look. Yeah, I got the Sinden shop. Well, not only that too, you do have like the white border around, which I'm not a fan of. But yeah, like the minimum, 100. I think like over $100, and I think that's without recoil. That's like just your basic light gun. Oh, you can get.
Well, the reason that works so well though too is it's just acting like a mouse cursor for your. So it just your computer interprets that as a mouse.
Ooh, the pedal. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? It's like the technology.
But what's funny is, I don't have the remote here, but I had a remote when I had a Rasplex, and I would use that remote. But the funny thing is, it was meant to be used for like PC, And I could do the same thing. I could use it as a mouse cursor just by tilting the remote. And it's practically the same thing the gun is. And
well, that's how it is with the Wii. You just have I just have like this third party attachment where you put the Wii remote in this like plastic gun thing and you pull it. You know what I mean? It's basically like you're just using the Wii remote.
well, no, that's different though, because that did use IR sensors.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think what Blaze would have to do is I think they'd have to come out with like they'd have to come out with like it'd have to be packaged with a game or something for $50. Maybe or maybe 60. Like they would have to, it would be tough, right? And then how good of a quality would it be for that light gun? Speaking of light guns, I will. I don't know if he's watching us, but like technically not a technician, great channel. He mods like arcade one-ups and all that. And I guess he did a video where Team Encoder like they modded the Terminator 2 cab, which I'm glad to see because that only had the one game on it. Like if you think about it, like that's kind of a waste.
That didn't have a second game on it? I thought it did.
No, just T2. I mean, take the fact that you don't even have anything simulating remotely like what the actual kind of like gun used because it was different. You know what I mean? It didn't use like regular light guns, but Team Encoder made a soft mod where you can play like Area 51.
Well, that's a little bit different too because those guns that were like literally mounted to the cabinet, those were like joysticks in a way.
Correct.
They were joysticks.
Yes.
And that wasn't like T2 wasn't the only game that did that. Operation Wolf actually worked like that too.
Yeah. But I mean, they made no attempt to even have the physical gun. But anyways, I think now you can you can soft mod it and play a bunch more games. So it's kind of and the reason I bring that up is grant that whole thing was like $500-$600, but at least that's kind of like if you want to do that type of thing, like that would even be something I would maybe entertain. But it's just the technology there, like for Blaze, just to be able to have that, they would need some cheaper third party gun. What's the best RPG at the moment?
Probably Breath of Fire, if you want to count.
Yes. Yeah, true.
But on a cartridge, not sure. Definitely isn't Legend of Wukong.
No.
Maybe the Brave Battle
Saga, definitely. Yeah.
The other one on there isn't bad either. Watermark. No, that's not beat 'em up. Cannon is the one I'm looking at. Cannon.
That's not a bad one. That one is more not an. That was kind of more of like more tactical.
Yeah, it's a tactical. It's still an RPG. It's a tactical RPG. And I actually like that one more than the other one, Brave Battle Saga.
What I do like about it is you can just jump in. You can do a save state before the battle. But like you don't have the frustrations of an RPG of worrying about where to go, where to level up. But then it does become like very repetitive. Like after, I need to go back and revisit that. Gremlin was weird. Yeah, some odd choices in the missions. Exile is the best. Oh, okay.
Exile? No, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't even. It's an action RPG.
Yeah.
It is kind of an RPG because there is RPG elements in it, but it is not turn based. It is action based, and honestly, it is okay. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend it to be honest.
Blaster Master Chief for Genesis. Oh, cool! You beat Gimmick the other day.
Let's see what? Oh,
that game was a retro butthole. I'm sorry. Oh my god! I know. I wish. I wish. That'd be funny.
Yeah,
take that.
But they should have given us Sunman because that was an unreleased game. Because like Batman, Journey Silius, where that was like a Terminator game, but they changed the graphics to make it not so Terminator. There was Sunman, and that was originally supposed to be a Superman game. But then when they found that they no longer had the Superman license, or they never had it, one or the other. I think they were making it in the hopes of getting the Superman license or something, but they never got it. So they were going to turn it into Sunman. So it looks very much like Superman, but he's a different character. But that game was never released. But that exists out there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Mike. They could do that. I think the only problem though is that there really aren't any light gun games. Like I think on one of the jail codes there was like that bonus. They could do that, but it could have kind of opened. Maybe could it open up the gate to more arcade enthusiasts? Yes. I don't know, but then I don't know if they would make as much money off that card. It would be cool either way. It would be really cool though. It would be totally cool.
I wouldn't mind seeing Point Blank. That was one of my favorites in the arcade.
Yeah.
And I had it on, and I had Point Blank. I still do have Point Blank 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation.
Finally, hey Rasta, there are lots of great options like the Retro Shooter 4. Okay, no sensors. I do. Yeah, if they could find some way to have to use a light gun, that would be awesome.
Imagine trying to playing a shooter like that on the XP. You're like holding the XP and just.
Yeah, I know. It's strictly it would strictly be for like the. It would strictly
you'd be on the bus or train looking crazy, shooting your.
Yeah, the cost. Yeah, everything is low cost. Gremlins 2 from Sunsoft. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there is a Gremlins 2 on Sunsoft.
Point Blank would be perfect if it works. Yeah. If they could that would be cool. They could just find some way. They could just kind of find some way to do that. I think that's something that, as like the technology, maybe it gets cheaper. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's what's that solution where you can buy I think you can buy that Pandora's box with the 2 light guns.
Yeah, there's something like that for that, but I
think that's like $200. Yeah. What's that?
And I don't even know if those guns work with anything else.
They do. It's like Retro Ralph thoroughly tested that on his custom arcade. An incoming from Gandalf.
Oh,
he says the EXP says hi from San Diego, and there's a picture of him holding up the EXP. Cool. That's awesome, dude. Sunsoft Arcade maybe. But yeah, let me
Sunsoft Arcade. How many arcade games does Sunsoft do?
That is a great question.
They did Arabian, and I don't know if I think the arcade version would be better than the NES version, but I don't really remember Sunsoft for being an arcade game developer.
So I'm okay. So let me share. Okay, I found. Let me share out what I found here. Hey, Rich. Yeah, I saw the picture there in the Discord. Very, very cool. Appreciate you, buddy, dropping by to say hi. So let's take a look. So this is what I was talking about, the arcade gear. So here's and you know, it's funny, of course, when I type that up, a bunch of Retro Ralph stuff comes up. Which, by the way, check out his chat. He thoroughly tests all this stuff. But yeah, I guess it's $379. But you get 2 guns. You get everything that you need and all the sensors. And I wonder, could you just get Oh, that knocked off $100. But see, yeah, if you could, because you could use it with the PC. But yeah, I didn't know if they had the price for just if you could just get the guns themselves. But I guess
just
not.
the gun.
Yeah,
you should be able to. What if one of your guns breaks and you need a replacement?
Yeah, I know. What if I could just do Retro Shooter light gun? Because I would just be curious just to see what the. Of course, I set my keyboard down here. Oh. I saw something where it said just add. Retro Shooter console. See, I hate this because I saw something that just said you could just add. Could you just add a Retro Shooter? Okay, 2 of them. Oh, maybe it's just the console for $95. So 2 of them with just the sensors and all that. That's $300. Really?
Well, think of it. That's 2 of them. That's $150 each, which is the same price as the Syndon. So I don't know if those have recoil or not.
True. So yeah, it's just the tech. Yeah, it's just where the technology is. And I think anything. I think anything cheaper. I think anything cheaper than that is just going to kind of be meh. Um, yeah. Oh my god, a Rampage collection. That'd be great. Oh, I love that talk. So look, the little wizard guy. Hey, Gandalf.
It'd be like Rampage collection. It'd be like 20 games.
But yeah, or more like I know, like a midway collection in general would be excellent. I think actually when I like
you could do 20 games and just ports of the original Rampage.
True. I think though, because I know like on my last stream we were talking about like a midway collection. I think like Warner Brothers owns the licenses for all those, so I suggest going through Retro Shoe to make sure you get the PC adapter checkout. You can, yeah. No, there's a lot you can do. And I think that would be awesome. I just think the problem. I think that I kind of hate to say this, but I think it's like if you're spending that money and you're using that, you're going to be playing it on the PC or something. You know what I mean? But it would be cool if they could do some type of deal. I think maybe even at $100. I think at $100, if you had like a cart packed in, maybe with 2 light guns or a light gun, maybe that might work. I don't know. Rampage, it would be the poster of The Rock. Yeah.
I actually have that movie on Blu-ray in a steelbook, signed by Brian Colin.
Oh wow! Are you for Kaneko? Are you familiar with that, Crow? Kaneko.
Yes, it is. It is. I don't know if they're a publisher or developer. I can't remember which. The name does pop up, but there's nothing. There's no game that like pops out in my mind that says that's a must play for Kaneko. Is there something in specific in mind that Kaneko was that put out that people want to see?
I don't know. First gets an R console to make him. I thought he already was Gandalf the Grey. The R. Oh, because of the buttons. Huh.
Because the console's gray.
The console's gray, yeah.
Going back.
Sorry, I was thinking, yeah. Okay, that's actually pretty funny. Sorry. Yeah, no, that's actually, that would make him Gandalf the Grey then. Yeah, that's true.
Well, isn't that what he is now?
Yeah, I don't know. Could be.
Or is he Gandalf the White and he's reverting back to Gandalf the Grey?
I think he's just Gandalf. I don't know. A company called Buy Stuff allows you to buy a 19-inch monitor with the retro shooter sensors built in. Oh, yeah, no, that's that's definitely cool. A lot of PC Engine. I know, and which is like, I'll have to find out. No, PC. I am hoping that the next Giga cart. I'm either hoping it is some really cool indie game, like the Shovel Knight collection or something, or collection of games like that. Or maybe it is something like some PC Engine or Sega CD, something.
We wouldn't necessarily need a Giga cart for that unless there was more than like a few.
Right. Yeah.
Like the Duke Nukem Collection 2 has 2 CD games on it, and that's not a Giga cart.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just kind of interesting, but. Yeah,
the whole Giga cart thing doesn't necessarily matter. Let's just put it that way. It's just a way of Blaze explaining away why they have to charge more for certain carts because they need more memory.
Yeah, exactly. But I think though with the Tomb Raider collection, they wouldn't be able they wouldn't be able to fit all 3 games on a normal cart. I think even with the compression and cutting out. So
because that's 3 games, and if they were filling up the max size of a CD, that would in fact 2 CDs if they were filling up max size would already be a Giga cart.
Yeah,
but most of those CD games didn't use all the disk space.
Correct. Yeah. It definitely. It really depends. No, I remember back in the day when you could like download like Dreamcast games. I'm like, because I was like, what? They called these, they kind of advertised that these were like gig card. I'm like, why is this a game only used like 300 megs? Like, really? Yeah. It was kind of disheartening to find out that they didn't like fully utilize like the potential of the console, or it was like audio that would take up. Like, really? Yeah. Yeah. It's like the fourth wall was broken. Well, I mean, kind of like with Sega CD, you kind of like expected more, but a lot of the games were just like a Genesis game with CD sound. Like, come on, it's not the Sega Genesis, the Sega CD's fault.
Well, yeah, there's that, yeah. But sometimes there was some extra added stuff in addition to that.
Yeah.
Like extra levels and stuff. Maybe
Yeah,
FMV openings and endings and. But yeah, that's kind of what the Turbo CD was too.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool. Like most games, like you feel like you're watching like an anime, like cutscenes instead of the beginning.
The Sega CD, the hardware actually did provide a little bit of a hardware boost to the Genesis, just not like really noticeable. Like I think maybe a couple more colors you could have on screen. Some additional hardware support, like sprite scaling, maybe like almost like a Mode 7 effect, I think was possible with the Sega CD. That wasn't possible without it. But it really didn't add too much more.
Yeah, speaking of, all right, I need to look, I need to see. I need to see how many discs this particular, just make sure that
how many discs is what?
Sure that I remembered it. I need to see how many discs this one game is that was on there for, I want to say I remember it was like 8 discs.
What game?
Ground Zero Texas, but I'm trying to think of like how many.
I don't think that. No, you know what? You know what game was 4 discs? Was Slam City starring Scottie Pippen. And the reason that game was 4 discs is because each person you played against in that game was a separate disc.
Because I felt like with that, maybe it was at least 4, but I swear to God, I felt like we were always swapping out discs like playing that. Game can get 110 minutes of interactive footage. 4 different.
I actually never played that game, Ground Zero Texas.
Or like, but yeah, or I want to say like I think like playing Phantasmagoria on PC, which I love, by Sierra. I think that was at least 4 discs. That might have been also 6. I don't know.
Final Fantasy 8 and Final Fantasy 9 were both 4 discs. Final Fantasy 7 was 3.
Oh yeah, the Atomic Verge. Yeah, those are cool. If I remember right, those are like Metroidvanias. Yeah.
You know what? You can see that. They have that for the Switch. Axiom Verge 1 and 2 on Switch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know you can get it on Steam. The Giga. Oh, so that. Oh, wow. That would be at least 2 Giga carts. They could do some compression. Maybe Toxo. Oh yeah, 1 gig plus, kind of depending. Riven on PS1, yeah. So it's funny like how there's Wing Commander, yeah. It's funny like how like the early games like were so many discs. It's like, man. So it was kind of neat when you got to other consoles and say like PS2 and above. Like I don't actually have to swap out all these discs anymore. Although I will say on GameCube, Resident Evil, that one is 2 discs, but it was neat. Depending on which disc you put in, you could like start with the alternate character.
But you know what? GameCube discs, I think, were limited to about a gig.
They were. Yeah, I think those were like gig or gig and a half discs.
The Dreamcast discs were limited to a gig, but those were kind of CDs anyway.
Okay. So okay. Thanks, RMGBTV. I was wondering if they could read CHD files. That helps a lot for
it can.
For compression.
I mean, you think about it. It can read anything in like a regular emulator would read.
True.
So it would be able to read ISO or CHDs.
A Blu-ray disc add-on will be God. Yeah, I hope we do get that announcement. Probably they'll announce the alpha when I'm not able to get like all my like tools and everything to like make like a video. I'll probably make it from my phone. Oh my God!
I don't think they'll announce it until after the VSR and EXPR are released. So I wouldn't wait. I would wait till after that.
I think the one thing with the alpha, and you can say this, but I think there's going to be no middle ground. I think it's either going to be like amazing, like it's either going to be something that's like, oh my God, this is so cool, or it's just going to kind of be mid, like, yeah, we called it. It's just like you know what I mean, and not really be that exciting.
Don't think it's going to be that exciting, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think some type of docking station for the EXP or the handhelds. I think that would be like the most. I think that would probably be the most likely thing that they would do.
Yeah,
We all
that's what I would hedge my bet on at this point.
And then if you could plug in, if it also supported plugging in the Hyper Megatech Super Pockets, that would be great. Then then that would be a reason for me to buy it. But otherwise, if not, the Everblue. I think it's best not to get too excited. Yeah, exactly. It'll kind of be more neat. And then don't forget they still have that other accessory, which I think will be some type of controller, right? I think it'll either be some type of arcade stick or some type of official like wireless. I think so. Right?
I don't know why anybody would be excited over an arcade stick. You could buy an arcade stick right now and use it on the VS.
I think that's like, and I remember on Card Green, Rich, I think like the Alpha, I could like, I think we were said like kind of brought up before like it could, the Alpha could be an arcade stick with one slot, so you could just connect that to your TV. You could play Evercade games, and it has like some built-in like the Capcom Fight collection or something built in it. And what would make I don't know, maybe that'd be exciting, maybe, and then it'd be if you could take that and plug that into the VS, so then you could do multiplayer. Oh no, you know what? You wouldn't need to, because you know what? They wouldn't do that, because you'd be able to plug controllers into it. Yeah.
You've really lost me. It's like, why would they put out controllers with the games built into the controllers that you would need to plug into the system to play?
So you could do multiplayer, because it would have
what would be the point of the cartridges then?
So you could play other Evercade stuff, and you could play that, and you could do multiplayer.
But then you've left out all the XP people.
True. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what we were saying. Game Freak could be a hybrid if it's like some type of docking station. I think that would be the most be the most likely. Maybe we're getting a wireless version. I don't know. It's hard to say. Well, see, that's what I was kind of.
I don't think so, because why would they put out the VSR and then immediately put out a better version of the VS or the XPR, and then put out another version, a better version of the XP? That would just make people mad.
See, I think that with anything, it would be cool to have a clamshell. If we need a camera, but yeah, I agree. I think it would make if they put out any type of pro model or upgraded model of the VS. I think that would make people mad in general, because it's like, well, why did I buy this? So that's where I think a docking station, some type of dock, fits into it. And it falls in line with like the Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck. I think that would be the most likely, because then it's like, oh, well, you guys want, we want to give you the option to be able to use your handheld in that mode, but you're gonna have to pay a little bit more, and you can plug controllers into it. And I'm thinking too that with the dock, you don't even have to hook it into a TV. It'll also act as a stand, so you can just have it set up and you could plug in a controller and play it. That just kind of weird, right?
I don't know.
That's pretty funny, Game Creek. He's like, or just build an arcade cabinet and have the VS to power it. I know someone to do. Yeah, I guess he did that, which is pretty cool. Check out that video. That was that's why I think it's either going to be a dock, or if they did something so different, it would almost have to be like, a countercade. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I think either it could be a countercade or a dock. Yeah, if they did, like, let's say it has like built-in Namco games, it would be weird, but I don't know.
I don't think they're going to put out anything that's like going to be really expensive, like over $200.
Yeah, I know. And I think that would be like very niche. Like, I know like Pete really wants that, but like, who else? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think if they did that, they would need to come out with like some killer arcade carts, or I don't know. But then people might just want the carts. See, that's the thing.
It's like, you don't need it. If you like, honestly, do I really need an arcade cabinet when I could just buy the cart and put it in the system and play on a TV with a monitor that's bigger than an arcade monitor?
Yeah. Or then they make everyone mad because let's say it'll be like a Namco arcade machine that won't have the physical carts, and you can only play it on that. And then it's like, you know what I mean? But that would just be a bummer. That would just be a bummer.
That's why I think the docking thing is the best guess.
That's the
Like
most
everything
realistic.
else, yeah, everything else is kind of stretching things a bit.
It is, because it's not just going to be some weird multiplayer tap, and everything else is a stretch. But a dock makes sense, especially since the EXP doesn't have support. Support for that.
Yeah.
I think it would even be a stretch to have them allow you to be able to do super pockets. I think that would be cool, but I don't think it's going to be possible. But it'd be nice.
Honestly, I think that would be partly the only reason they would do it, to allow you to play those games on a television. I mean, if it was just the EXP with the Capcom games, I'd be like, okay, so they're doing a peripheral for one device, but to come out with a peripheral that works with 3 devices, that would be even better.
Yeah. So I tell you here's what I do. So here's where I have like a practical application for it. Let's say it just supports like the OG EXP in EXPR. Well, now that like with my HDMI switcher works, it's like anytime, like put it this way, I can't just have it's difficult just for me. Like I'd have to put it in a stand, which I could do, but I don't like playing the handheld as much, being connected to mini HDMI, because you feel the weight and you feel restricted. But for me, that would be cool to be able to play the Capcom games. Or for streaming, I like it because I could put in an additional Evercade cart, and then I could just use my remote and I could swap back. So I have my VS with 2 carts, and then I could have my EXP with a 3rd cart, and then I can switch back and forth and play the Capcom games, that I don't have to get up out of my chair and swap stuff out during this. That would be an application for me to have. Obviously, not everybody is going to use it for that. Watch it just be a skin for the yeah, they could, yeah. Or technically the EXPR.
Well, if it's for the VS, that would be VS and VSR, because they're literally exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know though. I think I don't think they're definitely not going to do like the Laura Croft edition. Or if they did, that would be stupid for them to, because there are people who would have rather bought that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That would have been available on launch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like with the Dukes. Yeah, that would have been available. But yeah, I think the dock is the most thing. It's not going to be like a VS2 or an EXP2 or anything that only has like
because why would they release like revisions of hardware and then immediately come out with new hardware? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I know you're a game freak, but still, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a reskin of the handheld or the handheld or the console, or the console.
I don't know. I don't think it would just be color change, because they wouldn't be announcing it like a big deal if it was.
Yeah,
because they didn't do anything like that when they came out with the purple version. It's like, oh look, we got a purple version.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like if it was a dock and it was only like $30, and I could at least use it with my current, I think we've talked. They'd have to make it usable with the EXP and the OG for that practical. For me to be able to have like another Evercade, or you know what, that if they were only $30, I would maybe even possibly buy 2 docks, just because here's another practical application for it. So if I wanted to have like a second Evercade, like a 3rd Evercade slot here in my office. Or then I might just have a docking set like plugged into the living room or the guest gaming room, because the EXP moves are, it's easier to move that around. Like put this, like it's a little more of a pain for me to unplug the VS and like move it to different locations. But the EXP, you can sit on the couch, you can plug it. You know what I mean? Like it would be like really easy to be like, I want to play this on the big screen. So
maybe you could plug the dock into the dock.
A dock and a dock. So yeah, but that would be more of a like that. I would almost consider getting 2 of them for that. If they were cheap enough, right? If they're like $50, but Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot about. Okay, so yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be the OG. Yeah. But still, though, the EXP and the EXPR, if it worked with that would be fine. Maybe even the Super Pocket as a bonus, then that would be.
I still don't know why the new revision of the EXP VSR. I don't know why it still has micro USB. I don't know why they didn't swap that out USB-C for that.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised. I'm thinking the cost. That could be the
Yeah,
only.
it's obviously more, but I thought there were laws that were coming out in the UK that said everything had to be USB-C.
Me too. Ah, so here's what's funny. Okay, here's what's funny about that Game Freak, and I kid you not, the last stream that I did, I had my Everkey. I think maybe not my XP. Maybe let's say like 90%, maybe fully charged. I know like I unplugged and put away a little early. Anyways, um, I had that pretty much like fully charged. I only played that not using the LCD, and let's it was at least for like 2.5 around like two like let's say 250 to 2.5 hours, and my battery life only went half down, and I was using that strictly in HDMI mode. So I wonder if the LCD screen draws more power itself. That's what I was thinking, because this was just purely just using it as a console. I wasn't also having to like the LCD because it blanks out the LCD.
Yeah, it does. The IPS screen does use more power than the regular LCD.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, mini HDMI. So yeah, I think that's one of the things they may not be able to get around, is that the fact that using the IPS screen. Yeah, exactly, Lord JRM. Channel member, if I forgot to say earlier. Yeah, no. See, I thought wasn't the whole thing with like Apple was having to switch over to USB-C? I thought for that very
well, I think that was specific to Apple too. I mean,
yeah. But no,
yeah,
I think
I don't know when. I thought that was taking effect sooner rather than later, so I don't know.
I think in the UK it was something where like where it said by 2026 or by some date all devices had to like be moved over to, like, it didn't say like USB-C, but it all had to use like a common charger. Just like I think there's also a similar law where like on handheld devices, like batteries have to be able to be easily replaceable, or the device has to be easily upgradable, like so that way people could upgrade to the device.
Okay, well, easy is like a relative term.
Yeah.
Replacing the battery in the EXP is a lot easier than replacing a battery in the original Evercade.
Yes.
You still have to unscrew the thing apart.
Yeah.
But at least you don't have to pry a faceplate off,
Exactly. And that's why I think like even like the Steam Deck OLED, they made it a little bit easier. Or you see like a lot of those like newer like Anbernic devices, and
well, I think that I don't think it's as simple. Right, I think what that is doing, that's more aimed at those companies that are literally soldering the battery to circuit boards and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily making it so simple as to like, oh, you just slide the cover off and replace a battery. I think that it's still okay as long as if you could take it apart and literally still unplug it and plug a new battery in, which you can do. Correct.
I think some companies just do that, like the Mayu Mini, and so that actually has like the compartment that you don't have. Yeah, I think some companies are just doing that just to make it easier. But yeah, like the OG Evercade. My God, that thing is like, you shouldn't have to use like a suction cup to try to pull it off. Yeah, like your video on that. My God, yeah. For those of you who haven't checked down that Crow's like teardown where he upgraded his OG and put in an LCD screen, is great.
Yeah, I was like, there was no way I don't see how people can remove that screen. It's very easy to damage that screen while taking that thing apart. I don't know if the footage exists on Rich's channel, but I know like it was priceless. Like, see Pete's expressions when you showed him that. Like I want to say, I don't think he'd watch the video when you showed him that and all what you had to do and put like the stick. It was priceless because you like had to like do a lot of surgery to that. And that was like right before the EXP was announced too. Yeah. No, it was great. And then I love too I don't know why this sticks in my head for like the battery part. You're like, you have to reverse the polarity, and then you play. Well, that's just the battery I bought because I really didn't know what battery I needed or what size I needed when I ordered it. All I knew is I wanted a bigger battery of more capacity. So it was slightly bigger, which is why I cut a hole in the back to be able to fit the battery. Yeah. That was great. Oh yeah, that's right. The new wave for the Golden Tee certainly opens the door for something like Evercade continues to think out of the box. Yeah. Yeah, I think what Evercade. Man, my eyes are itchy. So I think what would put Evercade
um, on the map, as far as if they really want to get attention, is something like, I don't know, like Donut Dodo. They need to have like a speed. They came up with like a speed run collection and picked like very popular games that current speedrunners were running right now that were retro. But then if they advertised, like no no latency, and then you could just like go ahead and plug it in, and if they had like kind of like how Donut Dodo has like the built-in timers, if they did that, and then they got like one like a, got like a very popular speedrunner to actually pick it up and use that, and people start using the Evercade category more in speedrun, and then they pick a game where, like, let's say someone like summoning, like, then like it gets popular enough, or like it's a popular game where like Summoning Salt sees a need to do a documentary. Oh my god, that would really put
I thought I might have been done buying Switch games, but I actually did pre-order one recently. Did you see the Nintendo Championships Switch game?
Oh, that's the one like where you like, yeah, where it is like a little mini thing of like speed runs, like you play like,
yes,
like, yeah, oh yeah, I saw Mad Little Pixels video. That looked really cool.
And you could like have it split screen, so you could have your best run and your current run. See how,
yeah.
Or you could even have like 4 players playing 4 different games on the same screen at the same time.
Yes. See, when I see something like that, almost would make me want to switch just to be able to do or to stream that would be excellent. Now, the one thing though with the physical edition, like if you get like the Japan physical edition for the same price, I think for like the deluxe version in the US, you get 2 like Famicom controllers that you could use.
You do, yeah. There's that, but you know what's funny is I already have the NES style controllers that work with the Switch. So,
oh, okay. You could still buy those separately, but like the deluxe is like 65 USD in Japan, and here, and you don't get the controller. You can just buy I think the game itself alone for physical.
Is
for like
that game even available in a non-deluxe edition? Because I never even seen it like in
a regular Mad Little Pixel. Yeah, he posted that to his community tab. I think he said like Play Asia had it for like $29.95 or something.
But can you buy it in a normal store? Like,
oh, in a normal store, I don't know.
But, yeah, exactly. Can you just walk into a store and buy the normal version of the game?
Oh, speedrun.net does have an Evercade category. That's cool. That's cool. Because I know like for systems you can pick like for Donut Dodo it showed like PC. Some people put Switch.
Well, the Duke Nukem 1 and 2 remastered have speed run modes on it. But really, all that does is add a timer to the screen.
Exactly. That's exactly, Mike. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly something that's what they need to do. Start. That would put them, because you have people that like amateur speedrunners like myself. Like, oh, they make it really easy. I would go ahead and try that. Like, it'd be a lot of fun. And then if you get a speedrunner to do it, and that would I 100%. That would just be really nice.
The only one they should focus on, the only game they should really focus on doing that with is Duke Nukem Remastered 1 and 2, because it's the only way to play that game on the Evercade. Everything else you can play anywhere else.
True. But yeah, maybe just promote. Yeah, then just like promote that. Try to make a deal with like an upcoming like popular speedrunner, so what would do it, but I don't think Evercade could ever get it. So if you, speaking of summoning, so if you watch the documentary, he does talk about like people running like Tetris, and like there's a different, like you can run Tetris on the OG hardware, of course, like a Nintendo, and then you could also run it with a Game Genie where it's uncapped, where like it'll keep track of your score and go to hexadecimal. So it makes it a little bit like you have to still manually calculate it, but it makes it a little bit easier, I think. But I think there's a ROM called Tetris Gym, and the speedrunners use where it has like some of the upgrades where it's Tetris, but it actually keeps track of your score, and like at the end it shows, and you can practice certain levels. But if they could get something like Tetris Gym, if they could get something like that ROM on a cart, oh my god! Because everybody loves Tetris, and who would not want to try to, you know what I mean? I don't know. But
there are people that don't like Tetris.
They are monsters. No. Let's see. If there's a Super Pocket, probably. Of Donut Donut. Yeah. They still need to fix that though on like EXP and VS to load the levels instantly. I don't know why. And then while they're at it, add the border, like add the border to it. I don't, where you can choose that cool arcade border. I don't know why I don't know. But give us those options. Give us those options. Oh wow, this.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna need to go like really soon.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We're at the 2 hour mark. All right, let's go to final thoughts. What do you want to promote real quick for your?
I put out 3 videos this week, all pinball effects and a live stream. So yeah, Pinball FX released 5 tables this week. So 2 individual tables and 1 table pack. That's what the 3 videos are on, and then I live streamed all 5 tables. In the meantime, I did finish playing every game in Duke Nukem Collection 2. So my next step is to actually start working on a video for that, I suppose. And that's that.
Nice. So I can tell you all that next week will be either, I haven't decided, it's either going to be my updated video on Pico 4 or Sunsoft, and then next week will be that. I'll be at an undisclosed location, so I won't be able to do any stream after next week. I won't be able to do any streaming for a week. Yes, I know, so sad. I'm gonna miss that. But yeah, those are the next 2 videos that I come out with, and then at some point, I think I'm gonna have to do an Evercade video on what on indie games and things that should be on there. Because Robot Named Fight, just stuff. I'm like I never even would have heard of that game, Crow, if you hadn't mentioned it. And I think something.
Well, I heard of it because of Premium Edition games, and I was like, well, this game is like it's one of my favorite games now. So
yeah,
I bought it on Steam too.
Yeah, and that just seems like something that would would totally just fit into the Evercade model.
Yeah, it would work perfectly on the Evercade. So
yeah. And all those things, just want to thank everyone, thank my channel members. We're going to do that here in a moment. We have memberships, we have a PO box, all those awesome YouTube things. Like and subscribe to not only my channel, to Crow's channel, to Pete Rich's, all that awesome stuff. So thanks everyone so much. You have the final word, Crow, before I end it.
This is absolutely fascinating.
I hit 2 buttons at once.
Thank you, Crashline, Mr. Shua, Immortal Sojourn, and Sucker MC!